Sawadee Kap, I'm JP Mestanza. It's Monday, March 22nd. Welcome to Phuket Extra, brought to you by PVCPhuket. Visit them on Facebook. The Erawan Medical Center in Bangkok says some 30 people suffered injuries, including cops, during a violent clash between riot police and protesters at an anti-government rally in Bangkok over the weekend. Police are saying that their actions were in accordance with international standards. Several protest groups gathered in Bangkok to rally at Sanam Luang and fly kites above the Grand Palace grounds, an activity that was common in the area until it was fenced off and reserved for royal ceremonies almost 10 years ago, according to the Bangkok Post. As they were near the grounds, riot police had already erected stacks of shipping containers to block protesters, who then used ropes to pull those shipping containers down. Riot police then used their water cannon trucks and warned the crowd of nearly 1,000 people to stay back. Scuffles began with video of the scene showing officers firing rubber bullets and deploying tear gas. Over 20 protesters were arrested. Since the anti-government rallies began last July, protesters have been demanding a new constitution, for the premier to step down, and reform of the monarchy. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. Thailand is entering negotiations with China-based firm Sinovac Biotech to buy an extra 5 million doses of their vaccine, all the while a vaccine developed here in the kingdom will be tested on humans starting today. Thailand had previously purchased 2 million Sinovac doses, another shipment of which, 800,000 shots, arrived on Saturday. Another 1 million is expected to arrive next month, but the kingdom is now in talks to buy another 5 million doses. The country already has an agreement for over 61 million doses from AstraZeneca, with a goal of inoculating half the country by year's end. Meanwhile, human trials begin today on a vaccine developed by the government pharmaceutical organization, along with Mahidol University and an American nonprofit, with over 460 volunteers, though results are not expected until year's end and ready for use next year. One new COVID-19 death was confirmed in Thailand today, a 60-year-old Thai man who also had lung cancer. The death toll is now 91, 72 new COVID cases today as well, raising the total for the nation to 27,786, including weekend cases. 95% of total patients have recovered. The head of Patong Sanitation is dismissing marine experts' notion that the wastewater from Patong is flowing into the bay and contributing to the macroalgae bloom along the beachfront. And that's why masses of red sea urchins were stranded, washed ashore the last few weeks. Back on March 2nd and also on the 15th, over 1,000 of the little spiny creatures washed ashore Patong Bay, and after inspections last week, the chief of the Phuket Marine Biological Center, Dr. Kongkiakiti Watanawong, voiced concerns, saying that macroalgae blooms, which red sea urchins feed on, they're growing because of wastewater released into the bay. After years of denial, Patong health officials finally admitted back in 2016 that during the heavy influx of tourists during the pre-COVID high season, as much as 20% of Patong's wastewater flowed untreated into the bay. But the chief of Patong Sanitation disagrees, calling it a natural phenomenon. His reasoning is that there are no tourists, so there's just a small amount of wastewater being sent to their treatment plant, and there's no fertilizer for algae to grow, so sunlight and the lack of tourism and boats is leading to an algae bloom. He did not entertain the impact of wastewater from homes and businesses in Patong not connected to the municipality's sewerage system flowing untreated into the bay. Meanwhile, officials say about 70 tons of algae was picked up from Patong Beach over the last few days. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. Phuket Extra will be right back after this. Welcome back to Phuket Extra. The search for the crocodile seen off Chalong Pier continues this week and has now turned towards Phuket's southwest coast, with teams alert in Rawai, Naiharn, and Yanui. The team of expert croc catchers from Suratani are now using whatever cameras available along the coast to help them with the search for the croc, which was first spotted in Chalong Bay last week. Red flags have been posted on relevant beaches to prevent people from entering the water, though at this stage none of the beaches have been closed entirely. For more, visit thephuketnews.com. A 26-year-old Thai man is now behind bars for allegedly attacking a 53-year-old man on Friday evening. A 26-year-old Widawit Sangtong is accused of beating a 53-year-old man with a piece of wood, then fleeing the scene with the victim's motorbike, all on Takwapa Road in Phuket town on Friday. Police arrested the suspect on Saturday at his home Angkor in the east side of Phuket town. The victim, meanwhile, is still recovering at Bashira Phuket Hospital. Thank you so much for joining us today on Phuket Extra, brought to you by PVCPhuket. Visit them on Facebook. Join us again tomorrow. Until then, stay classy, Phuket. For the best mosquito screens available in Thailand, contact PVC Phuket on Facebook today.